Hello and welcome to Dream Big. I'm Hannah Viviers. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, our guest today is Antonette Hardy, and she's an interior designer. And she's one of the guests that we've had on Dream Big Makeovers. And her story was quite profound, and she was sharing it with me. And I asked her if she'd be willing to share it here on Dream Big.
I just really felt that this makeover is part of my restoration process. It's a journey that I've been on, and the makeover for me is not just about the physical appearance to change, but it's definitely emotional and definitely spiritual as well, a development, a whole journey that I'm on, and I really feel this is part of it.
This is Antonette's picture before the makeover, and this is Antonette's picture after the makeover. And Antonette's here in studio with us to speak to us about her experience. Antonette, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Hannah, and thank you for having me.
I wanted to start from the beginning, because when I called you up, actually said to you, I'm doing this project, would you like to do a makeover with me? You said...
Yeah, I said I was so excited. It was going to be great. We're going to spend some time together and just do some, bit of hair and makeup and just have a great time. But it didn't turn out like that.
Yeah, I'd like you to speak about what happened when we did start.
Well, the day when it started, I had to take my daughter to the dance studio. And on the way there, I was just feeling really disconnected to myself. I couldn't feel emotions. I just felt not excited, but I didn't feel upset either. It's just that like I was pulling away from myself. And then on the way to you as well, I started feeling just awkward, and my heart was beating really fast. And I thought, this is silly, because we were just having fun. And I realized, I think there's something more involved in this than just purely the outer makeover.
So you get here, and before you got here, you were already feeling apprehensive. And then we started with the clothes. And I remember I just jumped into it because, you watch all these makeover programs and it just looks so easy. But I just jumped into it, and we started with the wardrobe. And then that's when things started to fall apart for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I really tried to get into it, and I felt a bit uncomfortable, just getting dresses, and I thought, this should be so great, because girls love getting ready together and just, looking at what we can do. But even with that, I actually felt a little bit like offended with the clothes, and I'm thinking, okay, what does it actually mean, me having a makeover? Does it mean that I wasn't good enough? I didn't dress good enough? I didn't look good? And I thought, no, I know, Hannah, and this is not what it's about. It's just something in me, that the thoughts that I had to fight. But the worst was when you put your arms around me and just tucking at the material, just seeing, as my clothes is very baggy, if we can tighten a little bit. And I just felt like I'm going to freak out. I felt like I'm going to pull your hands off and say, just like, leave me alone. I just tried really to stay calm and just move out of your embrace, and just said, listen, I can't do this. The only words I could find was like, I cannot do this. I didn't quite understand myself exactly why. I just knew that if I don't stop now, I'm going to jump out the window and just run home.
And for me, I think I was so caught off guard as well, and I think it was the same with you, where you had these emotions before you came, but then I think it just got so intense. And I remember you saying, I think before we continue, we should pray. And I thought, well, you're a very spiritual person, and the way that, and our relationship has come because we go to the same fellowship. So I thought, well, you just think we should pray. And then after that, you just burst into tears, and it was very surprising.
For me too. It really was surprising, because I didn't expect that, and I didn't feel like I was walking around with something that was bothering me. I was fine, I was coping, and I was doing well. I was very excited, and I just realized, something was stirring inside me, and I had to, when we were praying, I just felt like getting quiet inside my spirit and just asking God, what is this? What is causing this for me to react like this?
When I remember a time when you'd put on this outfit and it was really beautiful. It was this top, this sleeveless top, and a skirt that I think was just above your knees.
That's right.
And I was saying to you, you've got the most gorgeous legs. Why don't you ever show these legs? And then I said to you, you look so sexy in this outfit. And then a short while later, you said to me, and I remember what I said to you was, who wouldn't want to look sexy? Those were my exact words. Who wouldn't want to look sexy? And then you say to me, but you don't want that.
Yeah.
And it was surprising to me because I'm thinking, most women, all of us want to look sexy. What for you about me saying that really struck a nerve with you?
I don't know. I could not think of myself as sexy, and for me, it's got a sexual orientation to it. Like it's something more dirty than attractive. I didn't want to be associated with something like that. I definitely also didn't feel sexy, and the mirrors just completely freaked me out. You've got these like really big mirrors, which should be awesome, but I couldn't look at myself in the mirrors. I just couldn't stand looking into the mirror and seeing. I definitely didn't see what you were seeing. And yeah, the skirt was just way too short to me. I bought it, but I think I worn it once to a wedding, and I was so self-conscious all the time, and I used to pull it down like lower and lower. So there was no way that I was going to walk with that skirt, especially not with a shirt, because it was sleeveless, and I felt so naked, I felt so exposed, and with the mirrors and everything, it was just overwhelming, just very overwhelming. And
what has been interesting for me is there are times when I remember when I came to your house and now we were going through the wardrobe with,
Yes.
and I was looking at you and just like, you are so gorgeous. You didn't have any makeup on. And I was just, you are so beautiful. You had all these outfits I'd never seen you in, that you were bringing out from like, I think, back, that you'd, pushed them far away somewhere or packed them away and you brought them out. So I think through the process, one of the things that stands out for me is that it's exactly what you said, that I would see just how beautiful you were in a certain outfit or just how beautiful you were, period. And you would be so resistant to that and not being able to see that. And I remember that when we're talking about the skirt was too short, I remember even saying to you, this is something you can wear to work, because it was a decent length for me, but for you it was too much. So when you look at the process and the journey that you've been, what for you was causing that to feel so uncomfortable, to feel so exposed, to feel so naked, and to want to cover up so much?
I think what is important is to realize that I didn't know this. It wasn't that I was walking around thinking, oh, I'm different or something is wrong. This was just me. This was my life. This is what I wore. That's what I felt comfortable with. I didn't think anything of it until we started working and looking at myself differently, and then I realized, but something isn't right. Something, if you can react that way, being so excited and saying that I've got legs, and I'm thinking, I want to run away. I realized something was going on, and I think after we prayed and I just started crying, I thought, okay, I know what I'm supposed to share with you, something that I've been running away from for so many years of my life. But I knew I had to share that with you, and I knew there was going to be a huge blessing in it. Didn't know what it would be. But that's when I shared with you that when I was 19 years old and I was raped. And ever since that, that was my way of coping. And I never told anybody. I just kept it to myself and just locked it away in the cupboard, just like stuffing it very deep inside me. And I coped. I went on with my life like nothing happened. This is just something that happened, and you can just cut it out and you can put it away. After that, I met my ex-husband. We had kids, and after the divorce, I think it just became so overwhelming, the rejection and the feeling of worthlessness. It started eating away on my self-esteem and my self-worth more than anything. And although I was a Christian all my life, I didn't understand God's love for me as a person. I know that He loves, and He loves everybody. But for me, personally, to have a relationship with Him was a very difficult thing. And I searched a lot. I started, I always read the Bible, but I started actually rewriting the Bible in my own handwriting, just searching for God to help me. And I didn't know what it was that I was looking for. And that led me to further studies and ministries, which was awesome because God really broken a lot of things in my life through that. But yet the self-worth, it was just something that I just didn't get. I just couldn't get it. And I didn't realize I didn't get it. You know, I would have known.
Until we started with this makeover. And so I remember we sat down after, you know, when you broke down and you couldn't continue on that day. And you said to me, I don't think I can continue with this. And we were going to meet on the weekend again because there was so much that we had to do. And I just remember thinking, well, maybe it's not, maybe in a couple of months, or I don't know when, if she's even going to come back for us to continue. So you went away and you had some thinking. What, despite all that anxiety that you had and that apprehension and how tough it was for you to go through it, what made you want to come back and continue with the makeover?
Well, first I must say that the first 2 days I didn't want to hear anything from you. I just wanted to just get away. I love reading books. It's just a way of escaping, I suppose. And that's exactly what I did. I just got home, got my book, and I just got stuck. I didn't even spend time with my kids. I just concentrated on work, and at home I just read books and just kept my mind clear of even thinking of it. I could not deal with that feeling that I was having. And about the third day, you know, I felt some peace and thought, okay, you know, and I spent some time with God. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to live like this. This is not going to be my life. I might before not have realized exactly what was going on, but I know now this is time to deal with whatever this is. And I knew that the resistance was so hard, and I knew that I have to push for it. I have got to just keep pushing. It's not going to be easy. There was times that it was easier, and it was wonderful, and I felt on top of the world. And then it was just being in a second later, it would just overcome me, and I really just inside me have to hold. It feels like something that I have to hold reins to, that I just want to run away.
I remember you saying on that first day, when it seemed like everything had just fallen apart and we weren't going to go back to it, I remember you saying, I have to keep control. I cannot lose control. So for you, where you were at, how did you, because obviously this is a way that you felt safe.
Yes. I've realized now afterwards, and I look back, that my way of keeping myself safe, because I really do feel vulnerable in clothes, like you would say, sexy clothes. It just made me feel very vulnerable. And I think because I'm a single mum, I've got 2 little girls, I get overprotective over them. And I feel that for me to be able to protect them, I've got to be hard, and I've got to keep myself away in a lot of ways. And if I give in to emotion and spend the time to actually try and figure out what is going on, I might just fall apart, and then who's going to take care of them? Who's going to be there? I don't want them to see me like that, first of all. And also then I feel, well, then they're vulnerable, because if I'm vulnerable, they're vulnerable. And I've got to keep in control to keep them safe. That was the main feeling for that.
When you said that, do you think, because I've seen this with conversations that I've had with other women, and I think even with myself, and I think a lot of people might relate to that, maybe not to the depth of what you're describing to me now, but that sometimes we don't deal with what's going on because exactly about what you're saying. But what made you want to revisit it then, and still, with all that you're feeling, with all that you've said now, and what you were afraid it could mean if you do fall apart, if you do face this and become emotional, what still gave you, because I said it was courage, but what made you want to then look at what had happened and perhaps start dealing with it?
I think for me, when I sat down and really think about things, I remember some prophecies and words that God has given me, scriptures, about 5 years ago. And I realized through that it's time, that God is actually in control and it's not me that's in control. So even with my daughters, He's still in control. And if He started something, if I feel this is the Holy Spirit prompting me to deal with this stuff, then He will take care of me. He will never let me fall apart. He will never put my children in a position where they are vulnerable. So for me, it was really a trust, and it was a difficult trust, because it's not easy to let go of that control. But I was tired of living like this. And yeah, I think for everything else is that I really just felt God's love really penetrating me and just overwhelmed me from the inside, and just felt that I am worthy. And I know that in God I'm so worthy. You might not deserve a lot of things in life, but you're worthy everything. And also for my daughters, this is something that I have to overcome, because it's something that I want to leave them to know that whatever happens to them, they can overcome that, and they can see that, and they can learn through this experience that I've had. I need to deal with that.
There was a time when we went to look for your foundation.
Yes.
And that was quite a profound moment for me, because I remember walking through the mall and I think I was like half crying while you were talking to me because a lot of what you were saying, I couldn't even understand how it was overwhelming me as much as it was. I was just so moved by what you would say to me you were experiencing. So we'd gone to try for your foundation to find the right color for you. And you said again that feeling of I just want to run. And this was another day. I think people need to understand that this has been like a 4-week process of where we've met so many times, and we've done one day we've done makeup, another day we've done hair, another we've just, it's been a lot of work. But then we're doing the foundation, and you said again that feeling came of where you just wanted to run. Because I was touching your face, I was close, I was in your space, it felt invasive. And then what happened?
Well, I was sitting, and up to that point it was actually very exciting. I was really enjoying it. I was thinking, how long has it been since I've been shopping with my girlfriend? You know, it's just something that I don't do. I haven't done it since before I got married, I think. And we were sitting there, and, you know, the people were buzzing around, and you were asking, you know, do you have this and that? And it was very exciting. And as soon as you started touching my face and you know, fluffing this way and then taking it off again and then reapplying, you know, and the other girl as well, the assistant, that came closer and closer, I could just feel myself trying to feel like I want to reverse further and further away. And I really tried. I know, okay, I'm going to stick through this. I'm going to do this. And it just got to a stage, and I think, okay, so if I get up now and I just run, what will she think? You know, I mean, I could just get away quickly because they're all busy on that side. And I just know, you know, something's going to have to happen, because I can't sit here any longer. I just felt God speaking to my spirit, and He just says, you know, let me love on you and let Hannah love on you. And I thought, God, this is you. You know, you are using this, which could be such a light-hearted thing to do makeup and something like that, but it was such a significant thing for me, because I just allowed the love to flow. Because for me it wasn't about love, it was just makeup. But I realized that God was using that, and I didn't know how to accept. I don't know how to accept people giving me love. I crave love so much, yet I can't accept it. I don't know how to accept it, and I don't even know that I don't know how to accept it. And that day I realized that I need to let go. I need to let go of the reins and experience the love that you were trying to dote on me. And I was just so resistant that I couldn't take it. I really felt this calmness that come over me. And actually, I think I was smiling, because it was just so awesome. I'm like, what? This is me. This is happening to me. I'm getting all this attention, and it isn't actually such a horrible thing. So it was really awesome to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to take this as love. And not judgment, you know.
And some of the things for me, and I keep on using this word profound, and I don't use it lightly, but some of the things that have been happening have been profound, and they've seemed insignificant, they've seemed small. I mean, on that day, because you only told me about this when we met again, I think a week later. So at that time, I didn't even know this is what was going on in your head. But something else that was again, we just thought, well, it's just a by the way, so you look better, is we had your hair done. and we had extensions put in because we wanted length and all of that, and even that ended up ministering to you.
Absolutely. I think that's probably the most profound thing that we've done through this whole process. And once again, I've got to tell you, with the extensions, I think that was more your idea than my idea. But at that stage, like you're saying, we meet, and then I would have a few hours, we'll have great fun, and then I will just reach the stage and I think, okay, Hannah, I've had enough. And it would be so quick, and I say, okay, thank you very much, it's been awesome, but I need to go now. So by the time that happened, we've gone through so much healing, and the restoration has been really profound already. But I just thought, okay, hair, I'm quite sensitive on my hair, and we're going to change the hair, so okay. And I thought, okay, I'm going to allow you, because I've seen for the other things that we've done, I can trust you to do that, because you're not criticizing me, but you're trying to see how we can enhance everything. And I thought, okay, I'm going to let Hannah have her way, and we'll see the hair. And then you go and buy these dark coloring. And I thought, Hannah, I told you my hair is medium brown, not dark brown. And I was actually really upset. And I still say to the kids, no, I've got to color my hair. What am I going to do? The shops are closed. I can't return it because you wrote my name on the box. What am I going to do with this? So I thought, okay, just stay calm. And I colored my hair. And as I went, out and I dried my hair and I looked at myself and I thought, wow, this is so nice. I really, really like the color, and I actually felt that, how am I going to handle this now? Because I was saying, no, dark color doesn't suit my face, and now it suits my face. So I called the kids and I said, okay, come and look at it. And they're both like, oh, Mom, it looks so nice. It really looks nice. And I must say, at that moment, I really just felt more confident. It felt awesome to look at myself and go, that looks nice. And I felt very positive to go for the extensions. And when I got there, and the color ended up being exactly the same as what we colored. And we wouldn't have known that before the time, because she wasn't involved in buying the color. And also my hair still had a little bit of a red tinge in it. And she ended up choosing the same extensions with the same dark with a red tinge in it. And it was absolutely amazing. But I think the profound part is when she was putting this in, and I was so scared because I'm so sensitive to my scalp, and I know that you said...
I even said to you that, prepare to not sleep the first or second night and have, lots of panados.
Yeah, because it's so sore, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't. I enjoyed the whole process of meeting her and just chatting, and I was so relaxed. And she was doing my hair, and I was thinking, okay, now it's going to get really sore, and I'm trying to hold out. And it wasn't. There was tucking and stuff, but it really wasn't that painful. And I went home, and I still remember when I went home, and I thought, somehow I feel different. It's not something that I can say what it is, but I feel different. And the next day, I realized when I was walking that I was really walking so straight, so upright. And it's something that I've always struggled with. I tend to bow forward when I sit or stand. And the weight of the hair was just pulling my head in the back, and it just sort of kept my chin up, and it's just a posture thing. It's a posture that changed.
But you'd also say to me that you'd had neck problems,
yes.
And as soon as she put the hair in...
Yes, I had neck problems for many, many, many years, since school time. And I used to drink tablets, quite regularly, especially depending on the work that I did that day. If I did a lot of computer work, from sitting forward and concentrating, I would really get back ache or more headaches. But since I've put the extensions in, it just kept, I think that the position of everything just fell in line. It just aligned my body. It's something so insignificant, as you said, is I never would have put extensions. I've never in my life actually thought of putting extensions in. It hasn't been part of me. I remember when we went to fit the wigs, we were playing around with wigs. It's the only way I could consider changing my hairstyle, because I didn't want to look at it. And yet when I put it in, it feels so natural. It actually it doesn't feel like I have extension. It just feels, and more than that is that
there's more.
Yes, there's more. I end up really feeling so happy all the time. And I remember phoning and saying, Hannah.
So you started feeling so happy after the extensions were...
After extensions, yes. Yeah. And I remember, because when I turn my head and it moves, and it's such a nice feeling. I was just getting goosebumps, because there's just a consciousness. about my hair that I didn't have before. And it just was a really nice feeling. It was a surprise. I didn't really think it, I didn't think about it, but it really is a nice feeling. And I thought, there's something more to this. So that's when I went to Google and just have a look at exactly what happens when your scalp is stimulated or lightly tugged. And that's when I find that it actually releases endorphins, which is feel good. Yes, I just kept moving my head so I can feel happy, and also it releases hormones in your hair and in your head. So that's fabulous. We can all do with the right balance.
And you said you'd always wanted for people to to have that sensation. Now here it was, and you hadn't even expected it to have somebody play with your hair and.
Yes, that's that's the best part, because since I've done the extensions, and we've done that at different parts, not all at once, suddenly people they were pulling, they were pulled in by it, and people what I never thought would come over and start playing with my hair, just fiddle with my hair. I mean, I love people just touching my hair.
You were saying to me, though, other than just people fiddling with your hair, because it looks so stunning, you were just saying that people who weren't affectionate towards you, or even were coming and showing you affection. But I think what was interesting for me was that you weren't pushing them away.
That's it. And what I said to you was this 5 weeks ago, I would have just walked away. I would have just avoided it all, being so offended almost with them reaching out to me. But the thing that I really have realized through all of this is I have changed. I've changed inside, because not just do I allow people to do this, but I enjoy it. And because of that, I think it's not something that we think about, and it's not something that they have any idea, but subconsciously they are drawn to me because of my attitude that has changed towards people in general. I can see that people just relate to me easier. And one of the things that I wanted to mention earlier is that after my divorce and everything, I started really pulling away from any activities. And I really started feeling isolated, which I know it was from my side that I did that. And I felt, almost like an orphan. I did belong, or I was part of meetings, or I was part of a community and friends, but I really just felt that I was belonging there. This is just all broken. It's just broken open, and I can just feel myself. I remember you saying to me that you think the reason why I haven't been dating for 10 years is that for some reason I am sending out a signal that says just hands off and stay away. And I was thinking, I don't do that.
Because I remember when I asked you that, I was kind of scared to say it, to kind of could it be? Yeah. Could it be that maybe you're sending out these don't come near me vibes, and that maybe guys can see that, and so they do stay away. And I remember you saying, no, you don't think so. And now?
Well, I definitely didn't think so. I was thinking, what, Hannah, how could she dare tell me something like that? I mean, why would I want to do that? There was a period of time that I really didn't want to. I couldn't even think about, another person in my life. And that, I think that's the reason why we looked at the clothes, because I think I just added so much layers of clothes, and I always wore baggy clothes to hide myself, because I felt too naked and too exposed and too vulnerable if the clothes were fitting too tight, or in my book too tight, which is not necessarily too tight. And I just, that was quite a surprise to me when you said that to me, and I'm thinking, yeah, I did feel like that a while ago, but it's probably been about 4 or 5 years. I really would have appreciated to meet somebody in my life. I really thought I was ready for it. No, I definitely wasn't ready. And I must have somehow have given a signal that says, not necessarily, not that I'm saying that I'm not worthy, or that they weren't interested, but it was something that just saying back off, maybe. I don't know, but I do feel different now.
Because I have to say this, because it does seem like people are taking more notice of you now, and the guys are taking more notice, and you're noticing that they're noticing.
That's the thing. I think that is most important, that you notice. But also, I so did not want anybody to touch me or hold me. When people would hug me, even in just an affection situation, I would hug them, but I would pull away very quickly. I didn't like that lingering feeling. Yet when I'm alone, I was so craving for somebody just to put their hands around me, just to hold me, you know. Even when we talk about the face, my kids, you know, they love taking face. I couldn't stand it. Just, you know, don't touch me. And it's ridiculous because you really need it, you really want it, but you can't handle it. You can't enjoy it. Yeah, so
one of the things you say to me when on the day that we did your before pics, and I say to you, why do you want to do this? And you said, this is part of my restoration. So now that we've done so much, you know, how does when you talk about that, it's part of your restoration. Tell us more about what you mean by that.
It was the 29th of April 2009. I got a prophetic word, and it was Isaiah 61, when God says, "I will give you beauty for ashes." And it just really meant so much to me because I just felt like I didn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore. I would look in the mirror and I would say, you know, this is not me. In fact, after our divorce, I actually just got rid of all the mirrors in my house. For 3 years, I didn't look at myself. I couldn't look in the mirror. I would get dressed, so whatever, you know, I got dressed in. And that was until I saw my daughter, you know, looking in the mirror at my mom's house and realizing that she doesn't recognize herself. And I knew that I was actually doing damage to my children. It wasn't like I was withholding myself. It wasn't that I was punishing myself. It's just that I couldn't cope with it. And I had to focus on bringing them up. So I just removed all the mirrors. And then after that, I started getting mirrors again. Not that I really used it much. But yeah, I needed a change. And when God gave me that word, and I thought, okay, you know, I used to think when I was young, when I was a teenager, I thought, okay, I'm pretty. I know that I'm not ugly. I'm not saying that I'm a beauty queen, but I knew that I wasn't ugly, and I was enjoying the attention that I was getting, you know, and I was playing around with it, and I used to love shopping and dressing. I used to dress very posh, and my earrings and all the accessories. I just loved doing that, and I realized over the period of time that I just stopped wearing it. I just stopped adorning myself and making myself pretty. I just made myself maybe less attractive and less attractive as the years go by. And when I got that word, I'm like, I'm going to hold on to that word so much. And the other word that God gave me was Isaiah 62. He says that I'm going to give you a new name. You would now be called Hepzibah, which is you will not be desolated anymore. So I wept so much that day, and I was just holding on to it, not knowing exactly what it means. But since that time, there's a lot of profound moments of ministry where God has helped me again. And this makeover I would never have been able to handle has He not already been preparing me for this moment. I mean, we didn't realize that we were just a little part of this whole restoration period. But as soon as we started in that day, I knew this is God, and He's going to take me through this. It's hard, and I want to resist it. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to allow Him to flow through me and help me to go through this, because He was in control, and everything that we planned, nothing worked out.
Oh, goodness.
Nothing worked out. Everything just changed. Even today, this interview, nothing was pre-planned. We just take it as we were prompted to do. And that's why I could trust, because I know that He's in control with this. And I know this is sort of just a part. But in the beginning, I thought this is the end of the restoration. But I realize now, when God spoke into my heart last night, He says, this is not the end. This is your beginning. This is the start, you know. So I'm very excited.
So that time when we had shot the before pics, and I said, just give us a line about why you want to do this makeover, and you said it's about your restoration. And then you said, you know, I've got so much to say. And in all of that, I thought at the back of my mind, well, we'll sit down and we'll have this interview that we're having now. But I didn't think that we would talk about the rape, and I wasn't going to ask you because I just thought it was something that was so personal. And however you were going to deal with it, you were going to deal with it, and it didn't have to be a part of this. And I wasn't even thinking it was going to be a part of this conversation. But then yesterday when we were speaking, and I said to you, what would you like to share? and you said you felt it was important for you to share this. And why do you feel that it's important for you to talk about what had happened and how you say that it caused you to cover up, and that part of that restoration has been to recover from that incident of the rape that had happened?
Yes, I mean, it definitely wasn't going to be part of this. It was something that I think I've told maybe 2 or 3 people in my life before. And last night, actually it started yesterday morning. The whole week, actually, when you asked me, want to speak, and that was a bit overwhelming. And I said, okay, that wasn't part of it to speak about the whole process. It wasn't part of it. And it was okay because it was all behind the scenes and I can cry and we can, do whatever we did. It wasn't going to be public. And then, the whole week I've been trying to put down the things that we can talk about today. It just didn't make sense. It just didn't flow. And usually I'm quite good with, just talking and putting things on paper. But it didn't flow. The whole week I was struggling with it. And then Sunday morning I thought, okay, I'm not getting it. There's something that I'm missing. And I really just sat down and I thought, okay, God, where are we going with this? Because, and deep inside, I knew where we were going. Because I know God has been talking to me the whole week about talking about this. And I thought, no, I'm not going there. It's not necessary. This is not what it's about. This is not about the rape. This is about your restoration. God, and you have led me here not to come and expose something like that. But yet I sat and I listened to what God said, and He just talked into my heart, and I struggled with it. And on the way to church, I said to God, okay, but why? Just tell me, why do I have to share that part? I don't want to. This is Hannah's show. I don't want to flip the whole thing around. And God I really felt God saying to me that, how would you know who I want to reach with your story? And I just thought, God, if just one person that is going through the same thing that I'm going through, that has years of just feeling insignificant and unworthy, purely because they do not understand God's love for them, He's wanting and yearning to restore them. It is so big, but we don't allow that. But that's what God wants for us. And He's given me many opportunities. I just didn't know how to accept it. And I thought, God, if just one person, even if it wasn't rape, maybe it's a different abuse, or just a feeling that they have that is saying it would be so worth to tell my story. And it is hard. It is not an easy thing. And it took lots of preparation today for us to sit here. And I've got some amazing people that's praying for me to allow me this peace that I'm actually feeling to be able to do this. And it's so significant, the people that God has brought into my life at this moment. People that has been in my life that is just so like a rock to me, and people that I haven't known a long time that He's brought in. And it's been such a surprise to get scriptures and to get prayer and intercession from them. So it's been a wonderful experience. And I really do feel uplifting. I feel like it's been a weight that has dropped off me. And I do not feel any shame. And there's something that I really struggled with. And guilt, it's not there, because it's not about what happened. It's about what God's got for me. It's about stepping into my purpose and the life that He has wanted for me.
I don't know, Antonette, if there's anything that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you about what has happened and what you would like for people to carry away with them. Because I feel like what we've done now is we've just had this little piece of you, where you've shared a piece of you and your journey and who you are. And I think as humans, when we come across with each other like this, when we interact, we carry a piece of each other with us when we go, wherever we go. What is that piece that you would like people to carry away from an encounter with you?
I would say that I've realized that God heals through people, and that He uses people to show His love and His acceptance of us. And you've got to be part of a community. You've got to be involved in people's lives, or they can't be involved in your life. It is very important, if you do have these feelings, to go and sit at God's feet and just let Him minister to you. Ask Him to bring people into your life that could help you with this or could lead you, and just accept people's love for you and the way that they do that. And just realize that your worthiness is so much bigger than what we can actually realize. But just take in step by step. You don't have to force a process of healing either. It takes as long as it takes. Mine has been 5 years, but the last 4 weeks has been supernaturally fast. I mean, the actual restoration, I think the preparation was 5 years and the restoration took 4 weeks. It was unbelievable. But yes, it's at the end of the day, it's God, and He works for people, and He heals, especially people that was hurt through people. He heals people through people.
I want to thank you so much for your courage to push through, because I've been with you most of it. I think God's been more walking every single step with you, but we've had so many interactions, and so I've seen from when we just started and you just completely fell apart to a whole weird week where I was like, I don't know if our friendship's gonna make this, but getting through that, and with each encounter, just seeing you push through. And I was just saying to you earlier on today when we were prepping that it's just inspired me so much, seeing you facing really tough things and pushing through and not stopping because it's hard or uncomfortable. And I think a lot of the times we stop a growth process or something amazing that's coming in our lives because it's hard or uncomfortable. And watching you push through every time we've met, every time we've had to make a change, every time we've had to do something that is so outside your comfort zone has just been so inspiring for me. And I've learned so much in this time that we've had to spend together in this process. So I just thank you for your courage of pushing through and of telling your story and allowing us to document that. I really appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you.
And I really want to thank you, Hannah, for being an instrument in God's hand. I never would have done this if I not felt safe in your hands, and know that God is using you, and you guys stepped back and allowed God to set the tone, to set the speed, because we should have done this 3 weeks ago, and every week it was postponed, yet you guys just stayed calm and just allowed it. So I really want to thank you, because I know that God loves me, but just putting me in your hands allowed me to relax and know that I'm safe. Doesn't matter what I went through. So